Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is U.S. Open Championship Week, which means we're going to be hearing from Brian Taylor and Bob Casper all week long. Brian and Bob's appearances are brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union, Mountain Supply, Black Desert Resort, Hoops Vision, and Uinta Golf. Brian, good morning.
Morning, gentlemen.
The U.S. Open is going to Shinnecok. There is a famous name in U.S. golf history, and I had occasion to be driving back on the freeway on a Saturday morning a week ago, and I got to hear a big chunk of your show, and I heard you list off all the big-time courses that you have been able to play. This show's really worked out for you.
What a show off.
I was like, you're just checking one of
Show some humility.
One famous course after another. I don't really need to play Pine Valley again. I'm like, whoa, okay, all right, cool, good to be you.
This guy.
I shouldn't put that out in the universe, should I?
No.
That's not good.
Bragger.
Yeah.
But the show has worked out for you well, hasn't it?
You know, it's been pretty cool. It probably doesn't hurt that my partner's dad won a couple U.S. Opens, and they have been so kind to invite us to media days to be able to play some of these great golf courses. So Pine Valley, by the way, wasn't one of those. That was just a relationship. And so the point I was trying to make with that, obviously, if we had a producer with a honk button, he would have probably been firing away that morning. But the point is that just because a golf course is rated one of the best golf courses, or just because it's really a hard golf course like Oakmont last year, doesn't necessarily mean it's a fun golf course to play. And so I was just trying to offer some perspective on Shinnecok that is one of my probably top three favorite golf experiences that I've ever had. It's one of those golf courses that's hard, but it's still fun to play. And so I was sad this year. We did get invited 5 weeks ago. Wasn't able to make it. But it's a treat. It feels like one of those places when you walk on the property, you just know you're at a special place. The golf course is fun. And I'll tell you what, so what makes it fun? That was what the discussion came into. Fairways are pretty generous, so you can hit driver. You don't feel like, you stand up on the tee and you're already defeated. The challenge then becomes a second shot. And I think when you're a golfer and you like the challenge, you play regularly, the second shot is what's exciting because you can see the goal. It's in range. It's right there in front of you. And can you hit the shot that will enable you to conquer the test that is before you? And I think Shinnecok offers that beautifully. It's right there. It's not easy. It's not just a lot of tour courses. These guys are driver wedge, throw darts at the flag and tap in for birdie or eagle and move on. This one's a little more strategic. Obviously, that's why it's hosting major championships and not just regular tour events. But it's a special place. It's a fun golf course. It's a hard golf course. It's going to test these players. But I don't think you're going to hear the players complain so much about the setup or the golf course as they do just their own ability or inability to master it.
What's this deal I've been reading about watering the course?
You.
What was that?
Sorry, that was Yak referencing the line about if we had a producer at a honk.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Good for you.
I missed that.
Exactly. I hear that playing over in my head a lot. That's one of my favorite drops.
What is...
This interview is now wrecked. Go ahead, Yak. Just 20 more times. It's fine.
What's the deal about watering the course at 2:00? I've heard something about that. What are they talking about?
So what's interesting is that the weather, because of where this sits in between the bay and the ocean, and it's fully exposed links-style golf course, one of the finest links courses the U.S. has to offer. Scotland's over there saying, "Wait a minute, but look, this is one of the best. Long Island is just such a gem." If you wanted to have you could have a whole show on, where's the best place to play golf, and Long Island's got to be right there. So what happens is the weather can change so drastically, right? I mean, when you're near the ocean, all kinds of things can happen. You can get extra humidity, you can get extra wind, you can get lackey. You get all kinds of things that can take place. What happened, if you remember, 2000, I think it was 2004. When Retief Goosen won, they actually lost the golf course in some ways. Like they had to water the seventh green in between groups because balls couldn't stay. Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, that was weird. Look, the guys out
controversial.
There, literally a dude out there with a hose, just like Dad was yelling at him to go water the lawn.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And Johnny Miller was on the radio or on the television. He was freaking out. Like, this is something you don't do. But the golf course, I remember that year we were with Mike Weir. He's recent Masters champion. Go ahead, honk it. And he was on the he was on the putting green, and he took his bottle of water and he just poured it on the putting green, and it rolled off like he had sprayed, some sort of like, you just waxed it. His ball, none of the water would seep into the putting green. It just rolled off, beaded and rolled off, and it just was really dry. And I think what they learned, the USGA made a shift that year. Although Phil Mickelson double hit a ball while it was rolling, even 10 years later when he played there, just because he was so frustrated with how fast the greens are, and some people complained about it. But what happens is, back to your original question, when the wind gets up and it blows, it changes throughout the day to where they could lose it. And of course, the USGA wants to keep this thing on a razor's edge. They want it to play as hard as it can possibly play within the setup, with the bounds of the setup of the architect. And so, given that they are pushing those limits, if the weather dictates it, they're going to put some water on it, in the afternoons, just to keep it to be, somewhat consistent from morning to afternoon. That's a little unusual, but I think that's the kind of, where this one sits. And you don't want to lose it. Gosh, watching Retief Goosen, I think he had 11 putts on the back nine on Sunday. It was unbelievable. Phil Mickelson and Fred Funk were also, I think, a group ahead of Retief. And it was, so you look at that, like Retief Goosen, not a bomber, but just a great ball striker straight, not necessarily known for a great putter, but he had a week. Phil Mickelson, bomber. Fred Funk, straightest driver ever in tour. So you look at that, and so many different kinds of players can compete. You look at Tony Finau was in contention last time. Brooks Koepka won, both bombers. Tommy Fleetwood shot 63 on Sunday and lapped the field and came up to finish in the top 5 or 3 or 4 or whatever he ended up finishing. So again, different styles of players still have the opportunity. Corey Pavin won here, right? Again, kind of more of a Tommy Fleetwood, Fred Funk type of player. And so I think it's just cool. It's a cool golf course. And hopefully the conditions aren't the story, and it's the play of the eventual champion.
One thing I love about your show is I love the caddy. Sometimes he comes on and just tells great stories and really takes you behind the scenes. And other times, and it was this case, he really gives you real insight. And I thought it was really interesting when he said the greens are just they're a fraud, they're a lie. Don't trust your eyes and what you see on TV. When he said 50% of the green area doesn't hold the ball. The combination of the fast and how the slope, can be a false front or back or side. And it may, on TV, you may see the green, but the ball's not stopping there. And sometimes it's going to, even though you hit the green, it's going to roll it not into the first cut, but into the deep rough, from which it's borderline unplayable. That seems like a real problem. And I guess there's always the chance that they could mow it a little different and create a little more space and give the golfers a little more break. But the way the caddy was talking, it sounded like that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think what he was speaking to there is the relative, so you say, well, the pretty good-sized greens here at Shinnecok, which a lot of links greens are. It gives them different pin locations and that type of thing. Augusta's, famous for large greens. But what I've learned over the years in talking to players at the Masters is it's very, very rarely do they ever actually fire at a flagstick at Augusta. In order to get it close to Augusta, you got to hit in a different spot, let the slope take it to that place. There's really no way of just throwing a dart at Augusta. And I think that's pretty similar to what he's saying here. So pretty big green surfaces, but if you don't hit your spot, it could land right next to the hole. I think Pinehurst is a little bit this way as well. USGA loves this kind of thing. It just requires a lot of accuracy and discipline when you're coming into these greens. And so I think that's why you're seeing Pinehurst as an anchor site. I think you're going to see Shinnecok as one of those as well. And it's one of the original founding clubs for the USGA back in the late 1800s. So, that's what he's speaking to is sure, hitting the green or landing your ball initially on the green is a goal for sure, but trying to get it to stay there and give yourself somewhat of a makeable putt is a whole nother story. And so these guys have such control over their golf balls, right? I mean, that's what you don't really realize as a recreational golfer. We love to go out there and you hit it on the green. We were at Black Desert yesterday, and the greens, because of the 100-degree weather, the greens are really, really nice and they roll, but they're pretty sticky and they're relatively slow compared to what you would see in the fall when the tour comes to town. Balls, you can hit chip shots and it'll roll up and stop. Where once you get those things slick a little bit, firmed up, you have to be able to put spin on the ball and the right spin on the ball in order to get it anywhere near the place that you want to finish up. So that's what I love about watching these guys. It's a master class. The USGA wants to, as they say, get every club in your bag dirty, and they want to also challenge the 6 inches between your ears as well, and just make it a really, really difficult stern test. And hopefully that'll happen again. Like I say, hopefully we don't have any controversial type setups, that it's more just let Shinnecok do what it's going to be, and that's what they promise they're going to do this week. But it's this one's, a lot of the guys I talk to, they're like, this one's ready. All you have to do is just change the pins and put USGA tee markers on the box, and it's ready to host the U.S. Open at any time. So that's the kind of course we got this week.
I was thinking about going, Brian, but then I see footlongs are $19. That's out of my price range.
Well, but the good news is you only really need to eat half of that, so split it with a buddy, $850, you're in.
I don't know if you've done the math, but $850 is not half of 19.
Or $950. Dang it. Let's go close. So close. That's why I was a communications major and not a math major. I could never do it.
Come on, the bad math deserves a honk, Yock. There we go.
But the good thing is a Corona Premium is $12.95, but a Corona non-alcoholic will save you $1. That's $11.95.
Who's drinking non-alcoholic Coronas?
I assume you, Brian, but I guess I was wrong.
I'm not drinking that. No, I
So
mean,
you're drinking the Corona Premier?
I'm not drinking either Coronas. I mean, you're either drinking Corona or you're not. That's the way I would look at it.
Draw a line in the sand, Brian.
I'm not a beer drinker, but if you're going to drink beer, I think you drink beer for a reason. Not because it's refreshing. It's not less filling. It doesn't taste great. There's a reason.
What is the reason?
Just taking the marketing guys to town. It's not less filling. It doesn't taste great.
All right, what's the reason then?
John Madden get a
you need to manufacture some enjoyment. If you need that, go for it. But it's not. I mean, if you're not going to drink the Corona, have a lemonade, for crying out loud. Jeez. Have a Coke.
Okay, lemonade though.
And a smile.
A Sun Cruiser pink lemonade is $14.45. So now I'm paying almost $2 more.
So really, you decided you're going to go to the U.S. Open in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
And you're complaining about $12 drinks. Okay. I mean, maybe this one's not for you.
Well,
PK.
but I wasn't golfing at Black Desert. We were there yesterday. No, I wasn't there. I can maybe afford Dixie Red Hills, but you're golfing at Black Desert.
That's right. And you know what? And you should be at Black Desert because the drinks are included. Except for the Coronas. You got to pay for those.
Yeah, I can't afford it. If they were included, I would go.
Hey, when are we going to play golf anyway? Why don't we have the DJ PK Open? When's that going to happen?
On the 12th.
And by open, I mean invitation.
Never.
I know you would just let it go.
Why not?
I pitched it. It fell flat.
Pitch it again.
Okay, I'll pitch it again.
Pitch it a third time. You got way more status now.
Yeah, we'll see.
Here's my thought. If you think winning a U.S. Open is difficult, how about standing over an 8-foot putt? Let's say you get a sponsor to give away $1,000. You got an 8-footer, but PK gets to heckle you as you line that up and try to make it.
Just a couple $100.
I want to see that.
Yeah, just a couple $100 of merchandise on the line in the old clubhouse gift shop.
If
right?
I'm putting an 8-footer for $1,000, I'm just hoping I make the comeback.
I've heard people who like to toy with other human beings a lot, so maybe he likes to do that.
How do you feel about Scotty Scheffler in the Career Slam? We're going to get a little history. What do you think?
It's been kind of an interesting few weeks on tour. I mean, you've got Aaron Rai winning the PGA Championship. I mean, I know we all predicted that. JT Poston won recently. Bud Colley got an emotional victory Sunday. You've got Wyndham Clark sort of resurrected his career at the Byron Nelson. So like it hasn't exactly been, sort of the who's who since Rory won, the second of his two Masters, I guess. And there's that math working again. So it's hard to say, right? That said, when we did our way too early major championship predictions back in January, Bob and I both settled on this one. If we're going to pick Scotty, and you feel like you have to pick Scotty to win at least one major, right? The way he's played the last couple of years, it might as well be here at Shinnecok. It might as well be like Grand Slam Bob wants to add a whole list. Bob wants that Grand Slam club to be jam-packed with people by the time we're done with this show.
Yeah.
And so he's rooting for that. But I really think, look, Scotty turns 30 on Sunday. There's a lot of really cool storylines that go along with that. He definitely hasn't been peak Scotty Scheffler this year. And yet when you say that, I think he's got like 5 runner-up finishes in the last several starts. I mean, he's such a good player. His stats are all still right there. Putting is good. Driving is good. Maybe he hasn't been quite as close. If you listened to the show Saturday, you also heard the caddy go on a way too long of a rant about proximity. But his proximity is really the only thing that I've been able to see that has, potentially slipped a little bit. And back to your comment about there's certain places on the greens that you need to be pretty precise with, perhaps that could be his undoing this week if he doesn't go on to win. But, I still think Scotty's the guy to beat. He's number one player in the world. He knows how to win major championships. He's super mentally tough. Doesn't seem to get rattled other than we saw it, right, a couple weeks ago. He's kind of going off on Ted Scott when the wind changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so and the caddy told us, the caddy told us off the air that Ted was really struggling with that, that was a difficult thing. He kind of internalizes those kinds of things. And so, we'll see. Hopefully everything's, hunky-dory this week with those guys and they get it all going. But I don't think you can say you don't like Scotty. I think he's a betting favorite for a reason. And, he's number one player for a reason. He's the guy to beat. But, if he doesn't win this week, does that mean his window's closed, that Scotty's done? Far from it. But this is certainly a good opportunity for him this week. It'd be super historic.
Certainly would. There's no question about that. Do you think there are others who are suited for this type of course with the potential weather conditions being a little windier?
Yeah, I really liked Brooks Koepka. He was sort of trending, and then he gets the hand injury that he withdrew in the final round before the final round of the Canadian Open. So I don't really know. We fly out today, and we'll get out there on course tomorrow. So hopefully be able to see, if Brooks is there, what he's, how he's looking with the swing and that kind of thing. If he's happened to favor that at all, Shinnecok will expose that, so he's kind of up in the air on that one. I think Xander Schauffele is a guy that you got to keep an eye on. Xander is, he's top. He has 10 wins on tour. He's top 10 this year in the Players, the Masters, the PGA Championship, and then when you look at U.S. Opens, he's played in 9 of them, and he's had 7 top 10 finishes. He just is. I think he leads the field in scoring average at U.S. Opens for players not to have won the U.S. Open. The guy just feels like he's a U.S. Open stat machine. And yet, that doesn't get you a trophy, but it should factor into the conversation. So I like Xander. Rory, again, talk about history. Only 6 players have won the Masters and the U.S. Open in the same year, and the last to do that was Jordan Spieth back in 2015. He does have 30 tour wins, most of any player in the field. Imagine that. We're here at a place where Rory McIlroy is sort of the elder statesman and most successful player, which I thought was pretty interesting with Tiger and Phil both out of the field this week. And so interesting. The other one I like is Matt Fitzpatrick. This is a guy that I just really like his play. I think he's going to win a major this year. I picked him to win the Open Championship coming up next month, but I wouldn't surprise me. He had a really good finish. What did he finish, second or third last week? And runner-up last week. And he has 6 top 10s in 14 starts this year, so including 3 victories. So I like Matt Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I know a guy who picked him when he was a total unknown, and he won the U.S. Open. And the other guys, one of guys, like he was born to play golf, and he got beat by somebody who doesn't know what he's talking about, but yet he picked Matthew Fitzpatrick. You remember who that guy was, DJ?
A complete unknown.
What are you, Timothy Schley?
Yes, and I wanted a honk with that. Me singing on the air deserves a honk. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I did pick Matthew Fitzpatrick.
I think we all knew that without you saying that, but I'm glad you confirmed it for the two people in the car who couldn't follow the plot.
And that you quoted the Bob Dylan movie, right?
I did.
And so we went and saw that movie, and my wife, a Phoenix native who's lived in the West her whole life, there was a scene in the movie where Bob gets perturbed or something, and he's going to ride his motorcycle to Newport. And she looks at me, oh, I'm sure. He's really going to ride his motorcycle to Newport? I said, yeah, I think that's Newport, Rhode Island, not Newport Beach.
He was going cross
Context
country.
matters, right?
That was her Newport reference.
That's awesome.
So there you go.
Oh, that's awesome. That one got me. Okay. Hey, Brian, we appreciate it as always. We'll do the draft with Bob, and then we'll get back to you later in the week, and you can critique our picks.
I love it.
All
We're
right.
looking forward to it. Thanks, boys.
Thank you, Brian. All right, there's Brian Taylor.
Hey there, it's Wayfair here, where delivery and setup are as easy as a few taps on your phone. You're relaxing in an old hammock, scrolling Wayfair's app, when you spot it, a brand new patio set. Next thing you know, Wayfair delivers it right to your patio and sets it up. Oh, you need a new grill too? All right, Wayfair's got you covered. With Wayfair's room of choice delivery and fast expert setup on qualifying orders, life gets a little easier. Visit wayfair.com or the Wayfair app.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.